Hello gamers, Scrub here, and welcome back to the channel. I'm very excited because today is patch day and we've got a brand new, well, unfortunately this match review isn't actually current patch, but this is the last one, so yeah, thankfully it's been fixed. Well, hopefully things have been fixed. You know the deal, timestamp on the screen if you want to skip ahead and dive right into the action, otherwise hang around and we'll have a good yak about stuff. Yeah, okay, see you soon. First things first, new deck. Unsurprisingly, Special Forces Armored Steel. It is kind of similar to the old one, very stripped down, but it is AMPV. AMPV intensive, tons of micro, tons of infantry, mores of RRC and Delta Force. It is so much fun to play and it's a blast, and it is anti-meta, and it was planned to counter Coastal, Coastal Tank Division, tank spam or whatever it is. But yeah, today's patch day and it looks like there's been some movement on that front. So just looking over everything, it's probably still effective. The deck is no longer valid, which, as we've now lost pack 2, so that kind of sucks. But we can at the end of the game, when we go, I'll show the deck on screen. What's left of the deck, because not everything's changed, but we have lost, we've lost my poor guardian. No, I miss you so much, and even though I could never use you properly, and you always died, and you just gave the opponent 300 points. I will miss you. You are gravely missed. I made this meme. I hope you appreciate it. Yeah, so new deck, and been playing it a bit, having a lot of fun. This patch can't come any sooner because I'm not sure if I can pop it on the screen, but I have attempted 9 recordings since the last time I properly got a good one to do a match review on. And dude, the servers have been cooked. Whatever happened with that server improvement thing just fried stuff on my end. I've been dealing with the most craziest desync and just matches not loading. It's been cooked. Thankfully, I did manage to get this game through. It's probably not the best demonstration off the deck, but yeah, it's super fun to play. To give you a bit of an idea, like, it's AMPV spam, which is the whole point of a deck is to be this meat grinder deck that you set in a highly dense. You could also do it in a forest area, but mainly a highly dense area where you can take advantage of a bunch of terrain as like blocking terrain, and then you just pretty much cycle infantry in and out in AMPVs and just keep the pressure going. It wrecks shit. It is crazy good and it's so much fun to play. It can be quite punishing when you do use it, also when you do make a mistake and you lose units because everything's so costly, but you just tear. In this game, it wasn't a mirror, of course, which is wicked. I actually get to verse Russia for once. But yeah, dude, it's currently 10:30 at night. I'm trying to record this with my chamomile tea here, trying not to fall asleep because I'm just too excited for that new patch and I want to dive right into it. It looks so good and I'm so excited. Like, tanks are back, we're eating good. Yeah, it's just I gotta focus on this game, but I'll stop ranting about that. Pretty normal game here, going Riga Airport. Starting on the side of the map, which is like, let me have a look. Yeah, the side which is closest to H for the H spawn, which is alright. Normally with this deck, going into this match, I wanted to apply I wanted to force myself to kind of be a bit more of a team player. There's like locations where this deck definitely wouldn't work that well, particularly on G. Just because there's not enough cover for you to be able to like micro things enough, and you're just so vulnerable to getting smacked around. So in this game I kind of wanted to this deck can work in B. I haven't played it on this side of B, but I wanted to go there anyway. But yeah, making a big effort to communicate with my team and kind of fill in spots where needed, because sometimes I find, at least with the ELO where we're currently at still, that we're playing this team game, but we don't actually support each other because we're so intent on kind of doing our own thing. And the way this deck kind of is structured, like, you do kind of have to focus a lot on your own stuff, but you can also like you got to help your teammates as well. And at times in this game, like, I probably was a bit too much of a, I don't know, pushover more or less, because yeah, the guy just come and takes my lane, which is fine, and then, you know, he doesn't actually hold for lane, which is, you know, also fine, so I have to kind of come back. That's all good, you know, it's all good, not going to stress too much about it. But yeah, this game has a lot of moving between both H and B to assist my teammates, to help nerve, and when we get the other guy's name, I'll kind of, you know, give it idea. Like, it goes to show, like, even just moving your stuff around makes such a big difference, dude. It's crazy. Standard opener. So the whole point of this deck is to, AMPVs with, you want to have a anti-tank one, which is with the Moors team, and a Rangers recon set to close quarter, as well as a Delta Force and its own AMPV for close quarter combat. Basically, standard rollout is you're greedy in this deck, and yeah, hey look, it's a scrub video and I have it on net attacks. Wow, wild, right? I'm still on the fence about actually continuing playing this deck in low elo, because, like, in a way you kind of have to be a bit selfish, and I don't think I'm at an elo high enough yet to be selfish. Putting that aside though, basic rollout is pretty standard. You got your 2 AMPVs, Shorat, and you bring an SOF with a sniper and a cap scout. I haven't played it yet, as I said before. I haven't played on this side of Riga, you know, going for mid, but I have seen a lot. I have done the opposite side, coming from D, and I've noticed, like, one of the key things you want to kind of do is get a sniper out real early onto that main runway, because if you position in a percent position, you can get really nice recon onto E, B, and D, while also being practically invisible from any of your opponents. At the moment now, just kind of, like, you know, commenting with my teammate to, like, you know, if you want to kind of, we've already got someone on the left side, we'd really need to get 2 people on E, and thankfully, Centus actually does it, which is wicked. Moving up my snipers. Not really sure of the best place to put these Cav Scouts, because initially when I did roll out of this lane, I was hoping to kind of take advantage of those buildings just to the left there. But, you know, a good friend over here decided he wanted to go and do this and kind of play the mid lane, which is, you know, all good to him. Queuing up my SOF to go and capture A, bringing in an additional, was that Moors team? I think, yeah, I'm bringing up a Moors team. So yeah, like, essentially for this deck, you bring the Moors up, bring, yeah, Delta Force, Moors, and you go whatever, Moors or Delta Force. I know I like to go for Moors combo first, just to, you know, at this stage, I'd rather have anti-tank than not have anti-tank, because if Delta Force goes into tank, they're just going to bounce off and it's not going to really do anything. Bringing up additional Shorad, because, do I bring up a Shorad? I think I do. Oh, I'm just kind of getting an idea. I'm a bit more focused now on making sure my sniper isn't seen. But, yeah, so we got the AMPVs, they do their thing, we move between buildings, you know, just take full advantage of them. You want to be constantly bringing up additional AMPVs to kind of fill out, because once they pop, you know, it can take a while for them to get to the field, so you want to have backup ones there. And then you use the smoke mortars to kind of, you know, at least with B, to, like, cover a huge section in smoke, charge your dudes up, close quarter combat, blow, kill, have a good time. That's kind of the general gist of the deck. Jesus, helicopters absolutely slap at AMPV. That's wild. Just completely broke apart. It'd be interesting to see what the actual patch does on that. Because I'll be honest, some of the things which was said was a bit confusing, and I didn't really get it. Because, like, you know, you have a patch notes and they list all this, like, intricate details, and I'm just like, oh dude, AMPV, why'd you go and shoot about the wrong thing? Oh, you're dead now. Here we go, moving my boys out to micro room to pop some smoke, then get into the AMPV. Bit of misclick there, reversing back to hope. Oh, that's pointing the wrong direction. Don't die. Sure, it dies. That's even worse. Yeah, back on point. So yeah, once you kind of got your initial rollout of your RSOVs, you got your recon, you got your first couple of AMPVs. I like to bring it up the Bradleys. Bradleys are crazy good. For Bradleys, and, like, the reason why I do that, sometimes before bringing up the additional Delta Force or even Moors team, is that you get the extra recon, which is so useful. And just, you get 2 Bradleys or even 3 of them, they can just wrap something, and when you fire your tow, you completely overwhelm their APS, and they just die, and it's so good. And they're super mobile as well, which is wicked. kind of a crap bomb going on right there, but you know, it's killed a couple of units, which isn't so bad. C's having a big beating going on right now, and it's falling down quite bad. But pretty much, you know, bringing back my stuff now. Got some additional supplies up. Got quite a few supplies. One thing in hindsight, now that I've played this deck a bit more, definitely wanting to bring a lot more shore ride up front to kind of, you know, invest those points early on and then actually keep those units alive, because like in the previous videos I've complained about low elo helicopter spawn. I'm sorry, not spawning, helicopter big blobs coming in. Really, when it comes to like shore ride and anti-air, it's like if you don't have it, it's pretty much the only way to counteract those giant blobs. If you've got 2 shore rides and maybe some ST teams, which this deck actually does have STT teams, which is, you know, quite good. You just got to overwhelm them and blow them up. Try my best to kind of signal to my teammates, have some stuff over there, using my recon to its best ability, and yeah, just kind of pivoting all my units towards the left here, because, you know, big man, I don't know, green, he wants to kind of, you know, hold B himself, even though he's, you know, not really doing anything, and he's kind of just standing there. So if I don't move my stuff, he's going to do his thing. I got to actually be proactive and help the team. So I kind of, you know, make my goal at this point. Oh, let's move and pivot towards C, capture that point, and then hopefully assist my teammate on H, because he's doing a good job. He's just kind of having a bit of a rough time, and I think later on in the video he does kind of, the recording, he does request it. A little bit more about this deck. Yeah, pretty standard recon tag. We've got some green berets, we've got some ST teams, sorry, special tactics teams. They're not the worst, they're great, you know. I prefer Jabson with how the Stinger, Ranger Stinger teams, because they're so much cheaper, but at least in this deck we need, it's a good idea to have a little bit of extra AA, and depending on what the rollout is like and the situation, like, it can be useful to have them there to even get those extra lasers for the big 35 bombs. Moving my sniper to get a bit more of an ideal location to kind of get a good view going into the D pass where orange is coming through. Moving up my Delta 4s. I'm quite surprised, like, I remember moving through here, I was quite surprised that I wasn't encountering any forces here, because orange made a really crazy breakthrough into our lines, and I was expecting them to be roaming around in these woods, or at least be getting some recon out there. A lot of good fighting overseas, a bit of a weird one. I find, like, if you don't actually control it, and particularly the north side from this perspective of, see, you know, control that tree line of those buildings right there, it can be quite difficult to get into, as it's like a really open objective. There's a lot of crazy sight lines, and it's, you know, kind of just like an easy target for being artilleried if you're not too careful. Big thing with this deck as well is you want to be keeping your supply chain rolling quite quickly and moving all your supplies up, because, you know, it is armored. The supplies are very, very slow, which is, you know, frustrating, but it is what it is. Got my Sentinel up right now, trying my best to kind of keep it a bit far back. A really awesome thing I noticed from one of Beagle Rush's streams is that if you use the Alt tab to kind of get a view of the surrounding of the line of sight, I guess, or like the bubble that is projected when you do that on a unit, you can, that's like 2k, I think, and if you use that, you can actually count 6k's away from where you think the enemy's AA is, and so you can actually keep your recon drone further back, so it's still in the field and it's not actually at risk of being shot down, which is really, really useful. I probably haven't really explained it the best way, but it kind of works, and it's a good way to kind of, at least if you aren't inclined to be able to easily judge the distances in games like this, it's a really great visual aid to be able to figure out, okay, where do I need to put my AA, because so many times you call it up and it's too close and it just dies, you know, which sucks. Got a little bit of a heli push coming from Mr. Green over here, going into, you know, untamed skies more or less. There's a little bit of AA, but it's all good. A 65 point little tow team is doing a little damage to that artillery team right there. Trying my best to move the shore rat up to get it away from those artillery, because they're definitely going to be a giant artillery magnet, which we got to be careful of. being a little bit passive for my liking right now, stocking a lot of dudes in that forest there, but you know, goes to show there's not much AA because we have yeah, poor Shorad. No, just go through it, dude. Don't run it back. He's gonna get hit again. Oh, I am surprised this is live. He should be dead. That's just dumb luck. But whatever. Signaling to my teammate to turn his radar back on, because you're not going to be able to intercept those, you know, missile booms if you're not. This is one thing I hate about this map. The bloody pathfinding on that bridge right there is ridiculous, and if you're not paying attention, your bloody your dudes will just get stuck in there doing circles over and over again. You kind of have to manually override them to move ahead. Your green man is, you know, not really. I'm doing it myself right now because I'm just sitting there not doing anything. But green man is not. He's just standing there getting bombed. He's not really doing much. He's just wanting to play artillery games in the back while his dudes stand there and just die. Dude, bringing up steps not going to help you if you're not actually moving your units up. Doing my best right now to support my teammate, bring up a lot of my supplies, and just kind of put a little bit of pressure point, like a little bit of a attack force to go on to C. I don't really want to dive onto the point right away because it can be, my stuff is so pricey, and this C is not a good map for me to be fighting over. Just due to the sight lines. It might be good on the other side, but just it's a really rough area right here. So I'm quite cautious to like not be a bit too, I'm very cautious to be, but I don't want to be punished. Just signaling to my teammate to get an eye. I should have messaged something in the chat. My idea was signaling to him to kind of give him an idea of where his he should be building his front line, because this is like a huge rookie mistake, and I think I was saying this in the previous match review. If we're looking at where C is right now, where if you're new to the game you think, okay, I want to get onto C, I want to control C, and that's kind of all I want to do, and I want to build a little defensive line. But if you're really wanting to make an effort and control this point, you're going to want to actually control a lot further in front of it, maybe even where that recon team is, or just try and that sniper team is, just to move the zone of control further forward, so you've got like an ability to be able to like deal with a frontal force that's coming to attack you, and then also pull back and be able to like deal with a frontal force that's coming towards you. Like, look right now, green man over here, is it Soul Eater? I think it might be Soul Eater. He's having a bit of a rough time, and I'm kind of moving some of my units over there right now because he's not really having, he's being pushed pretty aggressively. He's built his defensive line on the point, which isn't necessarily bad, but if he was able to bring his recon further up, or even literally move 2 or 3 buildings forward, he could have a lot stronger time in actually defending it, because then he's able to keep those backline units there, while also keep stuff resupplied at the front without exposing potentially losing this whole point just due to some bad to being hyper pushed like this. Getting my Moors teams in. Unfortunately, the Delta Force has kind of had a little bit of a spanking going on right now and has to pull back, which is the whole point of this. I'm bringing an additional AMPV up. If with this deck, if the unit dies and the AMPV survives, you just Silent Hawk, Delta Force or Moors teams or Recon or whatever you need to the front line to be able to restock it. You kind of want to be keeping the AMPVs together in like a hunter killer pack, more or less, because a single Moors team isn't that good, but 2 Moors teams is excellent. I've killed the tank at this point. Really, oh, and I actually haven't killed it yet. But here we go, doing the thing, boom, 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 boom. Oh, popping some smoke to kind of do a little bit of that. Trying my best right now to go and get my AMPV in position. A little bit of a misplay here where I expose myself to those BMTs and I get completely smacked up. And dude, look at that auto cannon, just completely shears it, which is rough. But goal is right now to bring in the AMPVs and the Moors team and kind of just surround them and give them a bit of a teach them kind of a little bit of a lesson. What's some of the points that we get from killing this thing? We're at 7. Oh yeah, 140 points. So it's not the worst trade, but unfortunately, my Shorad team didn't do its thing, and oh, look at that. That is brutal. That's a giant push towards B. My old man is kind of signaling that he needs support over here, but hey, I've dedicated all my stuff to go and save H. So, mate, yeah, we see it. You needed more AA. Very surprised that Bradley is still okay. For sure. That's kind of surprising. Bringing up the... Oh, look at this. Just dead. 2 of the guys die, and that's going to be a very nice trade for him, and unfortunately... Yeah. Do we get out? Okay, so... 2 Ranger teams, Ranger Recons and the Morse team survived. Which kind of comes to it now, yeah, we got to bring up the extra stuff and do a bit of help. Move my shore ride team around, just do a bit of help. I'm cooked right now. But looking at the end of this phase, great idea to move towards the pivot towards C. There really wasn't much going on here. I think if my teammate was a bit more, you know, if I communicated with him a bit better, I could have probably like requested him to go towards C a bit, and I could kind of deal with B, because he's, you know, he's really not being, he's not being proactive enough with his air defense or even the units he's bringing up. Because look, he's still doing the whole Gimlet's play right now when he should really be pivoting to like recapturing B. Little awkward position right now where I'm like, you know, we've got a big heli blob over there, we've got a couple of shore rides, we've got some Bradleys, but really not enough to properly be able to deal with this incursion on B. But it's not the worst, we can always take it back. They might have captured it at the end of you know, phase 1, but we're in quite a strong position now. We control C, we've got dudes on H, we're in this little down period right now where I don't really have, because of me kind of overcommitting more or less, not overcommitting, but yeah, I overcommitted towards H. We're in this weird downtime period. There we go, AMPV, which is balked. We're in this awkward position where we're in this slowdown period, trying to build everything up, heal the units, and then get back in the fight. Which isn't necessarily the worst, and the deck, you know, has options built into it. The deck has options put into it to be able to assist your teammates at times like this, when you're kind of like, I'm in a bad position. It's really like, yeah, not the best. Probably could be bringing in that additional AMPV, additional shore ride team, just for the fact that my opponent is quite heli reliant for sure. We've got a little bit of a push coming towards C right now. Got my shore ride on the right there with some, and my Comanche coming in for a little bit of assistance. And airstrike that actually, artillery barrage that actually does something which is pretty crazy, but taking advantage of the Comanche's additional range to kind of be a little bit of a sneaker force to deal with C. Once these SSO teams kind of get onto there. This deck does actually include some real cheap, just like frontline holding units, which I do take advantage of. We've got some mech engineers as well as some. We'll come across it. I'll delve a name when we get to it. But dude, I'm still trying to figure out Comanches and the helis. I didn't need to get this close. I'm risking being popped, but it's fine. Bradley's coming in to kind of, you know, to slice up these SSOs and recapture the point. And this kind of, you know, this demonstrates why you need, you know, sometimes you need some frontline holding units just to sit there and like stop the cap happening. Doing a little bit of micro right now to spread everything around as we're going to bring the supplies over. Make sure everything's nice and juicy. I've got my M106s ready to provide some smoke for the big push towards B. But we're in a fairly solid position. Teammate Nerve, Lazarus or Nerve? I think it's Nerve, yeah. He's putting a big effort into, you know, pushing towards that tree line right there to control that point right there. Old man on mid is doing a little bit of a giga rush going on right now to capture B, which is, you know, he's doing good. We're doing quite well on kill points right now, and that was a brutal push for the opponent team onto C right there for sure. Teammates doing quite well on E. They control G, big push from E. That's just a grip. That's just a meat grinder. And I would be interested to play this deck on that side of the map at some point. Probably after I have a little bit more experience. But yeah, we're kind of it's good. Doing a lot of moving around right now. Like I haven't played on this side of the map before. Or, you know, C or B. I've always been attacking C and B from the opposite side, but you know, that's fine. Trying to figure out a good place to be moving my snipers. They're in a fairly good place right now, and I think I was a bit worried about pushing them up a little bit too, pushing them up way too close and then kind of being spotted. Doing my best to signal to my teammate, but we got some our drones up, so we should definitely be moving our stuff around. Soul Leader. Oh, that's the Russian guy. A little bit of micro, this kind of a micro stuff you have to do with this. We got the AMPVs. We want to restock our smokes, restock our AWST charges. We want to be selecting the wars teams of the RRC, collecting onto supply, and then getting them to hop back into the AMPVs. This is something I'm going to have to get used to, because I keep selecting everything and then trying to get them to do more stuff. Sorry, selecting everything and then also moving the AMPV, which isn't really best, and it can kind of hurt, particularly when you're in combat. But here we go. I've got mech riflemen and mech engineers. Just these little dudes to kind of hold points. They're not going to stop a giant push, but they are going to blunt a charge, or at least pause it for a little bit. Got a little bit of a big push coming from this left side over here. Our teammates not really doing the best. Poor Nerve Boy is kind of being pushed up, but thankfully I've got this Comanche here with 2 Hellfires. Let's see how they do. We get a bit of a chunk. Unfortunately, hit that, but out of ammo, which is fine. But we're pulling the Comanche back. It's cheap enough that we don't kind of have to stress about it. And from watching a couple of other play a similar version of this deck, it's using the Comanche is also like a bit more recon when you don't really have it. You can kind of keep them low flying. They're basic Comanches with the missile pods, Hellfires, and the additional radar range, sensor range, so you get that 2.4k, which is nice. Oh, that's going to be a sad Guardian about to be popped. Now this deck has also changed because F-35s have been capped at 2, so that's one thing. We're going to have to be, we'll actually have to go back to bring in an F-22 with this deck, which will be, not good for the rollout because they cost so much money, but, it's fine. Real nice spread out going on over here, moving my my smokes to kind of pivot towards to H a bit more, as I was expecting them to do another push over there. And Green Boy on mid is doing quite well, so they're feeling quite good. Just requesting my teammate to kind of have a little bit of a peek through here and get some recon in there to kind of make it a bit easier for us to know when the threats are coming. But he's going absolutely hammered, spending I don't know, like 1,200 points or something on bloody helicopters, which will die in a second. Which is what it is. But F-35 coming in for a little bit of a bombing strike. Which is, fine. Do I get it? Now do I cancel it? No, I let it go ahead. Look at that. 2 Gimlers shooting doesn't even kill a shitty little AA piece. But we get 2, which is fine. Bringing in the pilot. Pulling the pilot back now. Very much a stalemate going on at this side of the map. We've got a really nice kill advantage, which is wicked. Nice overlapping fields of fire going on right here with the Bradleys facing off towards mid. It was like a missed artillery shot that hit those snipers a second. I wonder. A little bit of a hovering helicopter doing its thing right there. 2 people pushing on mid right now, so it'd probably be a good idea to head over there and help them. But I'm really focusing a lot of my attention towards I right now, as my teammate is kind of doing his Hail Mary stuff, and I don't really want to let him kind of eat it. Because the thing is, if I kind of leave here and they get turbo pushed, they're kind of in a pretty rough position. A little bit of a misplay, a misread going on right now, because we've got a single point. Now this is actually a complete misread, and I should definitely be pivoting all these things towards mid right now. Just by the fact where we've got or at least taking advantage of this massive push, and which I now notice, and I'm like, oh shit, let's get the Comanche over there, let's do something, because we could very well lose mid quite aggressively as there's 3 players over there right now. Communicating with my teammate to ask him to keep pushing towards I, and do we now leaving my shore ride over here, as there's really no shore ride, but I think at this point I start sending everything over soon enough. Gimlers once again just doing their thing. Oh, I'm not a fan of them, but I think I'm kind of just too traumatized from all the support bros. Just don't want to actually play the game. They just want to play shooting artillery, which I get, because shooting artillery is fun. Comanche doing his thing, shooting a little bit of rockets. Like, this is the thing, right? Like, I don't know what it is, but like sometimes support works. Like, being a support bro actually works when you blunt a whole push and you're kind of in this quite safe position. Yeah, now I'm pivoting my stuff towards the other point. Probably could have definitely done that sooner, as there's really not much there, and the whole A is exposed and E is getting pushed quite aggressively right now, so the tempo is completely changed. However, we have a kill advantage right now. There we go. That's how you kind of deal with you know, anti-air. Just bring so many helis and use your killer eggs as like you know, a 35-point whistle tank a stinger. You know? Moving everything across right now, doing the proper pivot towards mid, as you know, I can't even pronounce his name's having a little bit of a rough time. Comanche at the back. I definitely could be selling the Comanche at this point. I don't really need it right there. I've got an additional one I can kind of call in if needed. Pantsy are doing its job, but you know, the push has happened. We have kind of, you know, we've provided a ton of pressure. You know, we've you don't know, but well, you might know. Who knows? We've kind of, by pushing, with the teammate kind of pushing me, we've kind of modified the tempo of this, where they had a huge tempo pushing into E, capturing E and then B. Now it's kind of like, oh, now, you know, the left flank's not doing too good. And while they might have committed to like 3 or 4 players, like 3 players towards E and B, you know, there's only been a single person doing their thing towards the, you know, other side of the map. Oh, I miss you, Guardian. You know, she gonna kill it? No, it doesn't have a tank gets it, but my Guardian's still. Oh, we don't get Guardians anymore. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it's like, it's probably a good thing, because now I'm not going to be wasting points on it, and I can have points for other things. And DAPs look kind of good, you know, kind of juicy right now. Maybe, I don't know. They've got Hellfires, which is cool. I think their pod's changed. Taking the opportunity right now to kind of really move up my recon, as you know, if I'm going to be pivoting towards A right now, I could definitely be like moving my recon up to get a little bit of an idea of when they are going to be pushing. Taking a peek over this side of a map, you're looking at, okay, yeah, they're having a really rough time. I'll bring in a drone to kind of provide a bit of assistance. There is a special forces player on this side of the map, but unfortunately, yeah, he's not really bringing it in. Or maybe the sentinel just died, who knows. But they're having a rough time, they need a little bit of support. This would have been a nice thing to have my AMPVs over this side a little bit earlier. It would be a textbook case of using the smokes to kind of smoke the tanks, and then these ready, okay. Sure. Just cheap tanks everywhere. That's what they're kind of doing, aren't they? Nothing on B to kind of contest this push, but we do have a Guardian there kind of doing its things, hoping to kind of snipe a little bit of the kills. Not doing the best of the line of sight right now, as you know, that helicopter right there is tanking all of the shots from those laser guided things. Pantsy on the right coming towards the Guardian. Oh, misses 2 shots. That's your luck, bro. You're gonna die right now. Oh, 3. 4. Yeah, but now you're dead. That's what happens to the Guardian. You overextend yourself and you immediately die. But you know, it was a bit of a distraction, and we've got some. Oh, I'll, you know, block that out. But yeah, now we got the AMPVs ready to rock up there. Oh, if I only had my Delta Force ones up there, this would have been perfect. But taking advantage of our lack of AA and the fact that, you know, I don't even have my AA on at this moment, but I do a massive reinforcing airdrop onto mid. Which, you know, isn't the best, but we've got my AMPVs charging up there, and dude, you definitely need to be paying more attention to this side, as this is actually, you know, what's going on right now. We got tanks to the right as my smoke shots start coming in. Delta Force lacking a bit behind, and unfortunately, yeah, there you go. This is going to happen. They're gonna pop the APS. We're gonna move in closer, which is worse. Hope trying to get my AMPV teams out. But look, the smoke is kind of doing a little bit of its thing. Yeah, I'm struggling so much with this micro. We're moving into this plane to get a bit of a view to hopefully be able to see that tank and just pop it immediately. AMPV getting way too close to that squad and just immediately popping, but the Morse teams are kind of, the Rangers Recon are hopefully doing their thing and dealing a little bit of standoff. Delta Force pursuing the squad down the VDV dish to hopefully deal with them. Doing my best to micro everything around. Like, this is very poor play on my part, and we definitely could have controlled this objective and way earlier for sure if we actually, had the Delta Force in position and pivoted a lot earlier. I would, probably didn't even need to push for the point or even capture it earlier. Just had the units in place to be able to effectively overwhelm them. Right now we got the Morse team of a recon doing their thing. We're pulling them back to get a little bit of a resupply. Smoke teams did absolutely wonderful, and they definitely saved those AMPVs for a little bit. Pulling in some more mech, or at least planning to bring in some more mech engineers and riflemen to be able to deal with this. Just to have a little bit of a reactionary force on A in case we do get pushed. What's happening now? Yellow is pushed back to I and is now kind of staging, preparing to push. Mate on the left is kind of chilling. We've got a lot of Bradleys in the middle. Could definitely be bringing those up, which we're doing now. Moving these boys back to reinforce them. Pack 2 doing its thing. Radar isn't on, which is unfortunate. Got a lot of supplies hanging around, and Killer Egg is, this is one thing which you never really want to do, because anyone will be able to see those Killer Eggs just kind of hanging there, not really doing anything, and Giga Cruise Strike coming in, the pack's down. Rip. Or maybe that was Seed, I don't know. Probably could have turned it off. But now there's Seed back there, so it probably was just a Cruise Strike from one of their recon things, which is fine. Oh, I'm sorry guys, I'm just so distracted. I want to play the new update. I'm just like too keen. I want to play the new update now. Give it to me, please. It looks so good. We can finally surrender. Even though I won't surrender. Maybe I will. Heading towards phase 3 right now. Looking back at phase 2, major kill advantage from just some smart IT. I complain about them, but the support players actually did something for once, and I'm not really doing much. Definitely bringing in some more AMPVs as backup, and also pulling in another Delta Force, which goes to show like this deck really isn't designed to be played in the way it is now. It would do quite well if we were solely playing on B and we didn't kind of have to pivot between these 2 points. But yeah, you're just kind of too vulnerable when you're traversing, and you rely so much on those smokes keeping you alive that it might not be the best fit. But it's fun and cool, and I'm really liking Hellfire Shore ads. They wreck shit. Just trying to get an idea of where would be a nice position to put my Bradleys. Surprisingly that Shorad's still alive, which isn't surprised by, but it's all good. Moving up my M9 to get a little bit of view over B, and hopefully looking at it now, I've realized the mistake I've made. I placed this dude literally behind those planes, and those planes are going to be blocking everything that's coming towards B right now. So that's kind of fun. Doing a little bit of micro pivoting stuff around to keep it mobile. Oh dude, I gotta be looking at it now. This is the dumb place to be bloody reinforcing. Look at all of that Gimlers, Patriots, freaking Bradleys in a tank just chilling there, not really doing anything. That's an artillery's target if I've ever seen one, for sure. At this point, trying to remediate the mistake I was making earlier on in the match by making sure I've got stuck in position. Sealing to my teammate to kind of you can take your stuff off here, you can move to the left, you really need it over here. Especially if they can kind of get a little bit more of a front line up where those Cav scouts are. And here we go, the artillery coming in. I think just by luck, or maybe the fact that the opponent wasn't really doing much and they were kind of being quite predictable. They were the main target for all that big pushing. you know, nearly 10 minutes left on the clock, and we control quite a number of points. We're not really that high on the kill thing, but yeah, I think that giant cruise missile strike has kind of messed up their tempo, and they're kind of wanting to play this real defensive, like, okay, we want to go in and bomb your stuff, so to do that we kind of have to deal with that without really, like, you know, focusing on the fact that they should, you know, be putting more effort into actually contesting the midfield, which is, I guess, is what they're doing right now. They're, you know, they're just doing the heli strategy again. Doing another heli push, and unfortunately I've only got one shore team up here, so we're going to be in a little bit of a, you know, a little bit in a bad position. Do have some Bradleys, which might be able to do something. The autocannon is all kind of alright, but... And there we go, that shore team is just... yeah, there's no ammunition. Finally, my sniper team has been discovered. Thankfully, old mate has a bunch of AET teams, just on the left here. Be able to pop those little buggies. Those helis right there. That's what they actually do. We got... actually... Look at this, smoke rifleman actually hitting something for once, that's wild. But taking the advantage in this massive push from them to kind of, you know, move all my stuff into position to be able to focus on retaking B once it is kind of captured. Really, completely missed from the cruise strikes. They're coming from yellow, so they were, you know, noticing me move all the stuff around there. Probably expecting me to have maybe a supply dump in there, which is, you know, fine. Yeah, it's what it is. What do we got going here? We got supplies about, we got some shorad, restocking, moving the shorad up, and kind of, there we go, killer eggs kind of dealt with that massive push. Probably could have brought my own killer eggs in right then to deal with those helis. And look at that, like, this is one thing which, this big thing in this game, I always say this is one thing, but with this game, like, legit, you get put in a position where instead of actually making a logical play, which makes sense, you just react on emotion and just, okay, this worked last time, I'm going to span a bunch of helicards. I'm going to bring in some units on the ground to capture this, but you could have brought tanks, you could have brought, you know, frontline infantry and actually have a point to hold instead of just kind of YOLOing it into the back line for some Hail Mary push. There's still 8 minutes on the clock, there's still plenty of time to be able to kind of, like, for us to bring our stuff back. And many of us probably floating quite a number of points. Weaseling my Delta Force up into B. Probably could have, you know, changed that smoke order to make it a little bit better, because right now we're like, you know, this B is out. We control this. This is the neutral objective. We've got tempo on this side of the map. We can try to, you know, control it for the moment. Could have been a bit more ambitious and maybe push towards D, but, you know, that. It's fine, we're learning here. Teammates doing a lot of good work for sure. Finally, yeah, here we go. Face checking the the bloody hidden unit of dudes in here instead of actually with my AMPV, instead of using smoke and then popping dudes out to have a search. But yeah, Delta Force does the Delta Force thing, taking the advantage now to go and, like, you know, do the Giga push towards D. And to push directly up that main road there to get a hold of it. We've got 7 minutes back of the clock, floating 500 points. If this is the time we're going to do something and get tempo, this is the time we got to do it. Moving my Delta Force back, to kind of do a little bit of clear of these planes because we have missed something, so we're not capping that. Getting my smoke launchers to be able to cover D for the approach, because God forbid we get Mavericked. But, you know, good old, my mate right here is now like, just like YOLOing all his units up, which is, you know, he's getting the tempo, which is wicked. He's doing what I want to do, but he's seen the opportunity and is pushing now, while I'm probably playing a bit too passive. But, you know, he takes advantage of the smoke I'm about to lay. Kinda. Delta Force doing the Delta Force thing, moving the AMPV out range of that AT. Like, it just takes so much damage, Jesus Christ. Definitely shouldn't be showing my side armor to any, like, light anti-tank, sure. Moving my Bradley up to kind of get a little bit of be a little bit of weasel on this point and capture it. Smoke doing the smoke thing, and taking advantage to kind of yeet everything up there to get onto that point. We've got 6 minutes left. That's plenty enough time to kind of change I guess the battlefield for the final stages of this match. If we, you know, by pushing up there and making them have to fight over D, we've effectively given ourselves a bit of free reign and taken the pressure off B for sure. Probably don't have time to call in another AMPV, and I might even have one at the backline. No, don't, we're all dead. They probably got caught up in some artillery. But you know, doing the thing. What's going on right now? Yeah, we've got stuff coming in, we've got points. Could probably bring up a sentinel. Oh dude, you completely, you know, balked that. For sure. I don't know why you've changed direction to come to D when you don't really... Yeah, just, yeah, whatever. Opponent's a little bit deflated right now. And instead of, I just want to, you know, throw artillery stuff around. They're Russian players, what do you expect? We're low elo, what do you expect? We'd like throwing stuff around. As I've just brought up my, my F-35 and kind of keeping it, you know, keeping it back to bomb anything that comes near, which I'm sure I will miss. Moving my shore ride up to be, you know, deal with any type of helicopter push coming. Delta Force doing its thing. AMPV doing its thing, moving the shore ride up. Heading into 5 minutes left on the batch. You know, we're in a really strong position right now, controlling a bunch of the points. We've got a little bit of kill lead. Green has, you know, been able to sense the lack of enemy units here and have decided to eat all their stuff up and to, you know, clear their backline to create a bit more of a pressure zone. Probably not the best right now to be moved. This is definitely a misplay, moving these guys out, but I was hoping to kind of catch some stuff off guard. Dropping bombs on the stuff back there. Huge push coming up from orange right now. Right now, this is kind of a little bit of a... I was planning, you know, to like bring units up here, provide a little bit of a buffer so my stuff in the back can kind of do its thing. Just, you know, make them hesitate, make them stall out on D, make them take away the initiative from pushing onto a B point. Fortunately, I moved my AMPV up over towards B, as we're probably going to be getting a big old push going on right now with those tanks and those AMPVs need to be in position. Fortunately, I haven't been restocking my my smoke launchers at all, so they're not going to be able to put out a lot of smoke to protect my, you know, retreating shore-ad units, or even my incoming AMPV push. But we got an F-20, we got an F-35, you know. F-35 going to do F-35 things, and I'm sure I'm going to miss the bomb drop, which I always do. Delta Force being a weasel and jumping onto the other side of the thing just to contest that spawn. Could definitely be using a bit more assistance for sure, but what have we got here? We got an AMPV, yeah, there we go. AMPV, pick up that Delta Force and eat towards D. Great work from the teammates right there, dealing with that tank push. Trying to find a nice place to kind of hide my Delta Force while we're kind of waiting for what's going on. They definitely cannot deal with that tank for sure. What can we do? What are we doing? We're going to hop over here and try and get in this corner. Yeah, we do see the tank. F-85 doing its thing. Shorad, you know, refueling. Guardian comes in and mops up that tank for us to capture it. They've now been neutralized off that point, and now they don't really control anything on the map. Delta Force doing the weasel with 2 minutes left on the clock. Finally, I realized, I'm like, wait a second, why isn't it doing it? Oh, I'm out of ammunition. Water's completely wasted. But, you know, we got to see a little bit of proof of concept from what this deck is supposed to be and what it's supposed to do. Giga push coming on the left towards I here. Kind of a Hail Mary. Match is more or less over at this point. Yeah, match more or less over. Not much going on right now. Pulling up an additional AMPV to be a bit of a weasel and make sure there's enough on the field so we don't lose points. Crazy game from everyone. Good, you know, very well game. Support player actually did something which is cool. But yeah, like moving off that, I hope this kind of game is kind of showing you at least like something that this deck is supposed to be dealing with. We didn't really get a good chance here because, you know, number one, I was out of a position. I wasn't really in the direct area where I would want to be fighting, you know. Like this is like AMPV territory. This would be wicked if I had both my Morse teams up here, like just ready in that building, hop out, pop, and jump back in and hide. This would be perfect, but it's fine. It's what it is. You know. The whole point of this deck is to kind of be a meat grinder deck. You know, you do your best. make them fight for points, make them have to trade. Like, the US units aren't going to be, they're not going to be cost effective to kill Russian stuff, but you're going to be able to kill enough stuff that it actually makes it worthwhile. Because everything with the US, even like, you know, just generally from how the faction kind of works, everything's a lot more expensive. It's a lot more, more dedicated for sure. It's just, yeah, it's a lot more dedicated for sure, and kind of does the job, but it's just not cheap. A little bit of a, you know, there we go. Do we do it too late? Oh, do we do it too late? I think we do. Yeah, we do. My bad. Ah, well. Oh, come on. No, complete miss, but it's fine. End of game here. Yeah, 24 to zip. Crazy game for sure. We didn't have the worst KD, you know. Definitely probably my worst kill and death, but we got a lot of zone controls, which is wicked. And I don't think if I was like, you know, keeping the tempo up and pushing towards the other points, or even supporting my teammate, would probably be in that position. But, you know, saying that, my teammate actually kind of had bit, you know, under control with these helicopters and shit. Just having a look through all the stuff that we died to. Yeah, just the S300 popping those Sentinels for sure. And yeah, so jumping forward now, this is my deck. Well, this is what it was before the patch came through. As you can see, like previously we did have Guardians, and we did have the Pack 2, but you know, they've been switched out. Not really much has been touched. Apparently Stinger teams are a bit more effective now. Sorry, Shorad Stingers, so you know, that's something. DAPs have been included. Previously I was running 3 F-35As, but that's been dropped down to 2, which, you know, has room for me to bring in air attacks. I'm not sure how appropriate that would be, considering the fact that this deck solely, you know, really relies on that opening play and making sure you got the SOF out there to kind of capture the points, so the opponent can't capture it off you, and which gives you enough time. And if you're being a little bit of a weasel, you got enough time to get your Delta Force and your Rangers Recon and stuff up there. Probably we'll have to, you know, mess around, bring a couple more things. I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to bring Pack 3. Probably go with the 8 missiles. See how that goes. Yeah. We'll have to look at the heli tab as well. We've got like, you know, nearly 1,500 points to spare, so we can actually bring a lot of different things and see how we kind of go. Maybe make this a bit more well-rounded. Could honestly consider bringing cruise missiles. I don't know. Maybe a spooky. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'm looking forward to the patch, actually getting a chance to play it. Very excited for that, which will be wicked. And it seems like the community has kind of bounced back, and we're all kind of feeling hyped for Broken Arrow again. Practically, it'll be, you know, I'm not sure what the effect will happen on the current meta. That of course will change. I don't really see, you know, US becoming super overpowered, but it hopefully should, like, kind of, you know, make things a bit more balanced. Marines seem to be in a pretty good place, so we'll be seeing a lot of Marines for sure. But yeah, I might give we'll stick with this deck. It's fun to play. Hopefully play this deck on a map that actually suits it, which is something which, you know, now looking back, actually watching the whole review, you know, the map could have suited this deck, but it wasn't on the right side, and I didn't really fight in the area where I wanted to, which is, you know, apparently that could also be due to a bug where if people load into the game too quickly in the pre-match screen, you're not actually seeing the icons that people are putting down. So all the time when I'm putting them down, it could be people are also putting it down, and we're not seeing it, which is fun, you know. And I'm the arsehole for taking their lane, you know. Of course, very happy to have you all watching, liking, comment, subscribe, all that stuff if you're interested. I'm going to try trialing a new upload time, as looking at my analytics, it seems to be a lot of you are based in the US, and might be better to, you know, put this video up at 6 PM local time for me. Of course, we'll kind of, you know, make a post about that on the YouTube page to kind of let you all know about that change. But, and you know, with that, I might also move it to Wednesday and Saturday, you know, local time for me, to kind of hopefully ride that wave of when everyone's when everyone's alive, everyone's online, watching stuff. Of course, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Glad you were here having a watch. You know, bit more of a over the place with the Yapping, but yeah, big things on the horizon, looking to have some fun. Yeah, if you notice anything that I've done wrong, please let me know. Anything I've done right, yeah, shout it out if you want, or give me shit. I don't know, I don't care. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the deck, and I hope to see you all next time. Thank you. See you all.